What's up, guys? Dual Coast Podcast. It is March 11th, Tuesday morning at 8:30 a.m. my time and Jordan's time, actually. Russ is on the West Coast over there at 5:30 a.m. Guys, special guest today, Jordan Mendoza, joining us this morning. Jordan, thank you so much for being here with us.
Hey, my pleasure. Nice to meet you officially, Dan, and Russell. Good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Likewise, man. Likewise.
Russ, how you feeling over there?
As I was telling you before, it's very dark outside right now. It's to 5:30 a.m. With the time change, so we've got darkness for another good solid hour. But things are great. And Jordan, so happy to have you here. You're an exciting dude. You've got so much going on. You've got you've got 6 kids. Okay,
Yeah,
so
just six,
you're
so not too many, just six.
you're active. It's great, man. I applaud. Big families. I love big families. One of my brothers has got he's got 5 kids. So when we get together, as a family, man, I mean, he's got a horde that comes in. So it's fun, and you've got a
Yep.
lot going on. And so we're so pumped to have you here today and to be able to share with us. We've been talking about for a number of weeks, Jordan, about obesity. We talked about it several weeks ago, and then we brought it back last week. Dan and I talked about it again on our show, and then leading right in with you today is exciting. You are an entrepreneur. You are a podcast host of Blazing Your Own Trail. You are a speaker and a soon-to-be author. Share with us the title of your book, if you're able to, and
Yeah,
what
of
it's
course.
about.
Yeah. Well, you make me sound a lot cooler than I am, so appreciate that. But yeah, so the book is called The Life-Changing Power of Adversity. And it's one of those titles that's either going to make someone want to pick it up or make them look at it and be like, I don't like adversity. So I think it's one of those things that uh, it is the thing I can guarantee everyone listening to this episode or watching this, you're going to face it. It's going to come. We don't know when, we don't know how often, but what I do know is that you can push through it. I've
Yeah.
done it a number of times. I think part of the reason I'm here is the weight loss or transformation or journey.
Yeah.
A lot of adversity comes your way when you're trying to do something like that,
course.
and adversity comes in so many shapes and so many forms and so many different times in our life. Some of it early, some of it in the middle, some of it hasn't even arrived yet. We don't know what the future holds for us. And so my goal with this book is to change people's relationship when it comes to the lens that they look through adversity. Because when we shift our perspective and we look at, hey, what can I gain from this? What did I learn from this experience? What has this taught me? How has this shaped me? How has this molded me into a different version of myself? Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think the commonality between all of us as humans is we want to be better. I don't really know a lot of people that wake up and they're like, you know what? I just want to be suckier than yesterday. Like, I would like my day today to go worse than it did yesterday. Like, that's what my goal. I don't think I know anybody on the planet that's their
Uh,
intention. Does that make sense? And
it
so
does.
Absolutely
because
does.
Yeah.
we
It does.
want to be better, we're going to be faced with hard times.
Yeah.
And if you're doing good stuff, guys, buckle up because more things are going to come your way, as you
Yeah.
do more positive things.
I love that, man.
Sure, love
Well,
it.
talking about adversity, right? We are the heaviest country in the world, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to obesity.
Hmm.
And it's something that you dealt with. It's something that you had struggled with. And, I don't know, maybe you can share, how long of a period that you felt
Sure.
let yourself go. But, there's a lot of pills, there's a lot of drugs out there that help people. I see commercials all the time,
Yeah.
right? About drugs and pills for weight loss. Um, does that mean that that people aren't motivated, to get out and do something physically and to eat less and push away from the table? But, share with us, some of your adverse things and what caused you to really take that initial step to lose the weight that you did.
Yeah, well, I think my story is probably very common to a lot of people. Like growing up, I was a skinny kid, and then all of a sudden in your 20s, you start eating too many burritos and slices of pizza, and all of a sudden you got like 20 pounds extra. You're like, whoa, what happened here, right? So I think that's like that is the story for most guys out there, right? Like you're active, you're in sports, and all of a sudden you get a desk job, and you're less walking, and you're consuming more calories than you're burning, and all of a sudden you're overweight, right? And
Yeah.
when you say the term obesity, it doesn't take much to be obese in our country.
Right.
And a lot
doesn't.
of people don't get it contextually that a lot of people are probably actually morbidly obese based on what the doctors say, and they don't even realize it because of just overall consumption and all the bad stuff that we put in our body. And so my weight loss journey, I've always been the guy that could get off, go from the couch and go run a 5K. Didn't matter how much I've ever weighed. I've always just had that ability. My heart rate has always stayed low. So like when I'm at the healthiest, it's super low. And when I'm, even not the best, it's still pretty low in relation to where a lot of other people's are, so that when your heart rate's lower, it costs you less energy to do stuff. And so I've always had that gift, because I believe it is a gift and ability. It's not something that everybody can have. And so I've always had the ability to like do these yo-yo diets, right? It's like, hey, let me go eat. I've tried them all. I've tried Metashare. I've tried all these things where you drink shakes, and of course, like I could do this like literally like clockwork, Dan and Russell, where I find this new fad diet, and literally in 30 days I drop 30 pounds and I'm feeling great, and then I just go back to the same old habits. And I think that maybe other people can relate to that as well. But the reason why I took this time so seriously and so differently, it was the circumstance in which occurred. And it was my then 3-year-old. So I've got 6 children, like Russell said. My kids are from 6 months old, so from diapers to 20 years old to the workforce, guys working full time. So we've got them literally in every place in life you could probably think of having kids. Like we've got them there, except we don't have any grandkids yet, thankfully. Okay, but when your 3-year-old walks up to you, and I didn't have my shirt on, I was in my bedroom, and he walks up and said, "Hey, Dad, why are you so fat?" And I didn't have an answer for him. And that's really hurt. I was like, crap, like I don't have an answer for you. And that didn't feel great. Like I don't want to have my kid ask me that, my 3-year-old especially, and me not be able to respond, because what could I say? Because I like eating and I'm being lazy. I'm not being as active. Like, what am I going to say to that? So I said, you know what? That freaking hurt. That sucked really bad. And so it made me kind of go back to conversations I've had with people over time of like, hey, you can't just do these fad diets. They don't work. How about you make some lifestyle changes? How about you research and dive into these supplements that might make an impact in your world? And so I remember, and we've been connected now for about 4 years. His name's Ben Azadi, and he hosts a podcast called it was Keto Camp, and he's wrote a book called Metabolic Freedom, and he's got the keto a book as well. And I remember he talked about this way that you could lose 30 pounds in about 30 days, in a month, but that you could actually sustainably keep it off, because it wasn't about losing the weight, but it was about really lifestyle changes. Does that make sense? And so I went back to this video that he posted, and I watched it all the way through, and I said, you know what? All right, knucklehead, like you interview these people and these people have great advice. Like, why don't you go and actually institute and do this? And so I followed what he said, and within about a 30-day timeline, I had hit that goal, right? I'd hit 30 pounds plus. And then I said, you know what? I want to actually.
I think we're losing Jordan for a second here, guys.
Yeah. Hold tight. Hold tight. For those that are listening, Jordan lost 60 pounds.
Yes.
So we hadn't quite got there yet, but Jordan had lost 60 pounds. And so for him to overcome that in his life and to hear those words, from his son, right? His 3-year-old, he didn't, but, to hear those words, I mean, it had to be gut wrenching, right? And the
Absolutely.
fact that it led him to, to want to take those steps of losing weight, right? And so he was talking about the diet. There he is, maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, good old technology, right?
That's right. That's right.
This is what we call audibles, in football.
We discussed the audible before.
It's all good.
Yeah, so it's interesting, guys, how Jordan just from a lifestyle perspective, being so busy, doing all these different things as far as being an entrepreneur, being an author, being a speaker, a podcast host, and having 6 kids, that he was able to create a lifestyle for himself, that he was able to maintain this amount of shape and lose this weight over the course of, I don't know how long he lost the weight over, Russ,
Yeah.
but he lost 60 pounds, being able to juggle all these things. That's actually my next question I'm going to bring up to Jordan, hopefully when he comes back here. But it's got to be tough to that degree when you have children all across the spectrum of such a young age to such an older age that you're trying to care for in areas. Can you hear us, Jordan?
All right. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know.
okay.
It literally booted me out and it reset again. So, yeah, what I was saying is I finally decided to take action, follow these steps. And so I'd love to give people like, what were some of the things that I started doing, because I think that anyone on the planet can follow these things and actually get similar results that I had. But it's not going to be easy because
Yeah.
you're going to want the Taco Bell and you're going to want the chips and you're going to want candy. You're going to want all the things that you want, and there's going to be a period through like process of elimination of all the toxins that are in your body. So I want to, if you guys are okay, I'd love to share what are some things that I actually instituted, I put into place, that might actually be able to help other people.
Yeah, huge, absolutely.
Did I lose you again?
We could see you, we could hear you.
Oh, did I lose you, Russell?
I can't. I can't see you, but I can hear you. Oh, there you are.
Oh, you're okay. Perfect. So a couple of the things that I did, one of the things they recommend is you should start, every. Okay, perfect. Yeah, one of the things that, yep, I can see you guys now.
You exist.
Yeah, you're coming and going on mine.
You're coming back. You're coming back to me.
Okay, we're back.
Yep.
I think you guys.
It's delayed on my end.
Okay, I'm back. All right. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. It says I have full Wi-Fi and it's bugging out on us.
So yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, he was just going to get into some of the modalities that he utilized, and I was actually going to ask him that question as far as what did he implement as far as exercise, dietary regimen, and stuff like that. But with such a busy lifestyle, you probably have to taper what most people try to do to get into shape because you have these 6 kids, you have all this stuff going on, you have the podcast. So I was curious to ask him what he actually implemented as far as his weight loss techniques. If he took supplements, if he didn't take any supplements, if he cut out certain things. I'm just curious.
Yeah. You're working in the hospital, right? And you go into surgeries and you're dealing with people, that are obese and, different difficulties and stuff like that.
Sure.
So like, are you, when you're talking with these people in advance, I mean, what are their struggles? Do you know? I mean, do you get to that far? Do you get that whenever you're dealing with these people?
To a degree. I don't know if it's so much dietary regimen, but a lot of it definitely is polypharmacy is one thing that I notice in 95% of patients that we see, honestly, in the hospital. They take a slew of medications. Nobody's on like less than 5, less than 10, stuff like that. Diabetes is huge. I would have to say a lot of it is environmental factors, like you're saying, like the diet, difficulty managing it, the community that they live in, the resources that they have in those communities, as far as, fast food right there and everything like that. A lot of people, like we always say, they kind of take the easy way out a lot of times and don't really have the accountability when they go to these places. So I think that plays a huge role as environmental factors. Most people on a ton of medications, and they don't really take that onus and bring it upon themselves. Here comes Jordan again.
Okay.
Let me see if this works. He's spinning a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I think that's, I think, when you think about it, like,
There he is.
are pills the easy way out?
Yeah, I mean,
There he is.
a lot of times. Oh, there you are. You see us, Jordan?
Oh, I see him clear, but I don't
Yeah.
hear him. I don't hear him. So is medication the easy way
Am I
out?
back? Hopefully, yeah, I can see you guys. I'm not sure what's going on. I might have.
Yeah, you keep you cutting out. We could see you.
Okay.
Yeah, I do notice a lot of people in the hospital actually are on the regimens like the GOP ones, like we talked about, as far as like Manjaro, things of that nature. Everybody's on Ozempic. So, I mean, it's I'm trying to bring Jordan back as we're talking here. I do notice a lot of the people have that on their regimens without a doubt. And then most of them are diabetics for sure, and they're overweight and things like that. I would say majority of the people we see are probably using that drug though for weight loss specifically, not so much a diabetic regimen.
Yeah.
So I would say that pills and things like that will have you take less accountability, obviously, because you won't think as much to focus on the diet, the exercise and stuff like that, because you think you have a magic bullet in your pocket at all times. So my opinion is that people do resort to that very easily, as far as, jumping on a pill, jumping on a, whatever regimen necessary. I know people, somewhat close to me who are on Ozempic and things like that, who are not even overweight. They just take it because it's an easy bullet, and it's
Let's cut the chase. Let's face the facts for people. They love fatty foods.
Yeah, of course.
They love a lot of it, right? They don't want to sweat. They don't want to put the time in. They don't want to put the work in. That's the bottom line, is getting people to get out and walk. Like, I see people here in my community, I'm sure you do in your community, that have ski poles, and they, without the ski poles, right, for balance, right?
Yeah.
And they're walking, and it's like, this person is 60, 70, 80 years old, but yet giving it everything they've got,
Right.
Boom, there he is.
All right, sorry about that. My machine is doing something funky, so I gotta get with my IT guy after this call and see what the heck's happening.
We got you here, though. We got you.
Perfect.
All right, man.
Perfect.
Yeah. So let's.
So I think what I was saying is, basically, long story short, I know we're cutting in on time not too long for now, but so I decided to take the advice. I watched a video. The video basically gave me, hey, start doing this. So it was start taking apple cider vinegar supplements, every day. And so I started instituting that. I added ketone supplements every single day. I cut out sugar. I cut out, really lots of carbs. I started to cut out processed foods. I started doing 10,000, starting with 10,000 steps a day and trying to get up to 20,000, and getting more active every day, starting my mornings off like really, really early, like 5 a.m. every day, starting the day off, walking the dog. And then I also started intermittent fasting. So I always, when I'm doing something, I want to go all in, and I want to do it like full capacity. So my cutoff was 2:30 p.m. So basically, I would get up at 5. I would eat breakfast by 6, and I could consume until 2:30, and then I would reset and then go back until 6. So intermittent fasting was a game changer, and I didn't expect that it. I thought that it would help with weight loss, but what I didn't expect is that it would help in so many different things. Mental clarity, clear skin. It's like all these different benefits that you have, and so I mean, it was a almost literal transformation, because I was not just, it wasn't that I was overweight, but I don't think I realized how unhealthy I was because of all the crap that you're consuming. You just don't realize
Yes.
the
Right. Sure.
BS that's in everything. And so doing that, and now I started doing that in, really, it was like in June, consistently. And now we fast forward to, we're in March, and I'm 67 pounds plus lost, and
Amazing.
Amazing.
continuing. I have a goal now to get down to 175, and I'm like 180 something, 186 I think today. But I was 246. And the thing about the way that I carry weight, and things that, like, my wife says, she's like, you carry your weight so well that people can't really tell that you're big. Like, it's mostly they see it in your face, but you evenly distribute your weight. She said that's not the same for most people. A lot of people don't do
Yeah.
that. So she's
Right.
like, even though you've lost weight, you've evenly lost weight. So it makes it even a bigger difference, because
Sure.
most people don't do that. They just
That's
lose weight
correct.
in certain
Yep.
areas. But it's, in order to maintain a lifestyle like the one that I've created, uh, it isn't easy. There's a lot that you're gonna give up, and
Yeah.
how the way that I treat it, though, is like, if I have an urge, or if I have something that I just am like, I need to do this, then I'll just do it, and then I get right back to it, and I don't look back, and I don't like, berate myself and be like, hey, you just, no, it's like, hey, I already know the system. I'm going right back in, and it just picks right back up like the next day, if that makes sense. And so,
That's
because
awesome.
I've kind of figured out how to keep my body in ketosis,
Yeah.
and once you can do that, I mean, it's a game changer. Once you can keep yourself there, and just understanding that you don't have to consume as much as we consume. Like, literally, I think most people probably consume 30 to 40% more than they need to
Mhm.
on any given day, and sometimes on any given meal. And so when we realize that our bodies aren't meant to have that much,
Yeah.
our bodies are actually meant uh, to burn calories, consistently,
Yeah.
then that really has shifted and changed. And in the regiment, to me, everybody that I've shared it with, nobody has done it. because
Wow.
it's a long list,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm happy to share it. And I actually related a lot to business. A lot of my coaching clients, I sometimes I give them advice, and
Sure.
they don't go use it, and they don't get any results. And then I have
Yeah.
others that go and they do every single thing that I tell them, and the results are just astonishing.
Yeah.
They have just this transformation. And so, what I want to share with people is that we have a choice every day, right? We have a choice of, like, how are we going to react and respond in situations? What are we going to consume? What are we gonna do? What type of action are we going to take? And sometimes we make bad decisions, it's because we're human, and sometimes we make good ones. And but I feel like we can all, again, if it's important enough to us. And I think in that moment for me, when my 3-year-old looked at me and said that to me, it kind of hit me like, I need to be around,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if he's saying this to me now, when I was 43, I was like, what am I going to be at 53? Dead? Like, what, or am
Yeah.
I going to be so, like, in a place where I can't be active and I can't do all the things? No, I want to be active. I want to be able to teach him how to break dance, when I'm 60, if I want to do that. Age should not matter. and
Tell us
and
how
I
that
feel
goes.
like, yeah, and I feel like now I'm at the trajectory where that's possible,
Right.
and I can
Right.
Yeah.
see it. I can clearly see it. Like, hey, if you just stay the course, because I'm really not missing what I thought I was missing.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
there's
Sure.
no amount of food, or there's no cookie or donut that's like so great that, man, I'm missing out. You're really not, because it's only a quick dopamine hit, and it only lasts for so long, and it's
That's
not
right.
sustainable. There's no sustenance in it. And so I think if we can just think about what's the impact over time. At 44, I feel like 24 again, and that's huge, because
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm running. No one's guarding me on the basketball court. You're not. Come after me. Let's go. 1-on-1, 3-on-3. I'm going to outrun you if you're 20. I'm going to outrun you if you're 40. And that's a great feeling, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yes.
confident enough to say that because I can go do it and I can go perform at that level. But about 7 or 8 months ago, I would have been really tired after that. I could have done it, but I would have been tired and I would have felt like crap.
Sure.
Yeah.
And does that make sense? And so
Yeah.
Does.
if you kind of look at this case study for me, it doesn't take a long time to make a really big shift and a big difference. You
Right.
just have to be committed to do it.
Yes.
And here's the thing. I've done it with 6 kids and 3 businesses and hosting a podcast and writing a book at the same time. And so any excuse you have, just throw that crap out the window. Because
Yeah.
if I can do it, anybody can do it. Let's just say
Right.
that.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about me except I was just willing to make the changes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
good.
I actually
love
was saying
that.
that to Russ before, Jordan, when you were kind of in the break a little bit about how you juggled everything as far as having 6 kids, doing all the businesses and everything like that. And it seems to me like, you gained a lot of accountability when your 3-year-old came up to you that day and said something to you. And then all of a sudden, you gained accountability for some of that weight that you had on and you wanted to make a change from there.
Yeah.
So I think no matter what you were facing, even business wise, entrepreneur wise, and everything like that, you were going to get this done because you saw that look on on their face and you wanted to make that change automatically.
Yeah.
And just real quick, Jordan, I know we'll land the plane here soon because I know you got to get off, but how important was mindset to you through this whole journey?
Oh,
You
my
had to have,
mindset's been important my whole life. I mean,
yeah,
I've had to, and it's something that I've really worked on and built ever since I was a little kid. You know, my upbringing, I grew up really poor in Portland, North Portland, Oregon. I was raised by a disabled mom, an alcoholic stepdad. You know, like not really great environment, and so I had to grow up really fast. And
yeah,
if I wanted something, I had to figure out how to get it, and so that had me going door to door at 5 asking people for cans and collected them so I could go buy candy. So
really,
I've always had this gift and ability to communicate and talk to people, and
sure,
that's really served me well for sure, over time. And in of course in business, if you can communicate, then you can pretty much sell, and if you can sell, then you can bring in revenue, and if you have
sure,
revenue, you have a business. Right?
yeah,
And so one of the things that where mindset became a big factor for me is I had some traumatic experiences, all throughout from, being a kid until my early 20s. And of course, these things continue to happen. Adversity waits for nobody and doesn't let anybody know when it's coming, right? So,
sure,
but, 53 bee stings in 4th grade, that was something I had to have a strong mindset about as I'm being chased by bees and
wow,
kids are running away and teachers are running away. And then, getting them picked off and the pain and all of that. And then at 12, I was beaten and falsely arrested by police. I mean, I had to have a very strong mindset to not fight back and to, deal with a traumatic circumstance like that, and almost died in a wreck at 19 going 70 miles an hour, almost lost my right leg, had to relearn how to walk again,
wow,
was in a wheelchair, and made a 6-month recovery. So I've dealt with a lot of things in my life where your mindset had to be strong because
mm,
if it's not, it can take you down,
Yeah.
yeah,
and I've seen it happen with so many people where a very small thing happens and they're done. And
right,
I've been able to, through all the circumstances and through doing door to door sales for 5 years, I've been able to really build a strong mindset. I found myself after our first child was born doing landscaping for 8 hours a day when I'm a people person. And I had to have a very strong mindset to know that I was supporting my family during that season.
yeah,
And I was doing hard work. And even though I couldn't talk to people, I was still visioning and forecasting and believing that things were going to be changing down the road. So mindset is everything.
sure,
In sales, it's 90% mindset, 10%, physical. And I think it's the same way when it comes to diet and exercise. It really is 90% mindset and 10% physical.
right,
Because if we can get past here, I heard a quote one time, which is the inner game controls the outer game. So if we can have this dialed in, then
Yeah.
everything else will be dialed in on the outside.
Oh,
absolutely,
yeah. That makes great sense. Well, a lot of challenges along your way, right?
Yes.
A lot of adversity. So now I understand more about your book, right? And the
Yeah, that was
adverse
just a little
situations.
teaser of some of the stories, and man, and that's the thing is there's so many stories,
Sure.
and I'm a big believer that adversity gives us strength, and it enables us to see through a new lens, and it really shifted every circumstance that sucked has shifted my perspective, and it's helped me grow, and we have to sometimes change our mind from, why did this happen to me, but like why like how did this happen for me, or what can I gain from this experience,
Yes.
and that's not an easy thing to do, but you can do it. We can do hard things, it sucks.
Yeah,
But we can do
it's
it,
true.
That's true.
instability, yeah,
True.
instability is what creates stability, not the other way around, and we want to be stable before we want to be stable already. Like, we don't want to face the unstable things. We don't want to face the hard times to get to the stable side, but that's what we have to do, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Right. Right.
no, that's great,
Right.
man. Well,
That's
a lot of people in our society struggle with obesity, right? All of the challenges, taking that first step, doing the things, the hard work, right? A lot of people are afraid of the hard work. And that's what I was talking with Dan while you're out a bit. It's like, people tend to just say, oh, all right, I'll go on the pill, right? And I'll take a drug, I'll do whatever, because that's the easy way out,
right.
right? And or surgery. Some people just get so big, like they want to do the surgery,
Sure.
for reduction and things like that. But with all of the challenges, Jordan, tell us, 3, 4, 5 steps that people can take dealing with obesity that is an encouragement to them today,
Yeah.
that you can positively reinforce them they can do this.
Yeah, 100%. I would say if you're asking for five things, the first thing is take one step, and then
Yeah,
that's the first thing. The second thing is take the second one. The third is take the third. Fourth is take the fourth. You have to move, and so
yeah,
my point is you have to take action,
yes,
because you can run in place for a really long time but not get anywhere. So you have to actually move forward. You have to start putting your body in motion. That could look like literally walking from your back door to the middle of your yard and back,
yeah,
right? And then celebrate that because you did it. We have
Yeah.
to collect these little micro wins that show us that we can achieve it. When I was in a walker in a wheelchair, former breakdancer, played soccer and baseball 12 years, an athlete, you better believe that I was like, I'm not going to be here. This is not what my life's going to look like. I'm going to
yeah,
heal and I'm going to get better and I'm going to run again. And at 44, I'm still breakdancing, I'm running, I'm jumping, I'm swimming, I'm doing all of that. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
yeah,
I know that whatever you're dealing with, listener or viewer, you can do it. You can put one foot in front of the other and start moving forward. That's step one. The second step is find a system that works for you. So maybe it's you do these activities in the morning, maybe you do them in the afternoon, maybe you do them in the evening, but find something that you can do consistently. Okay, because
Sure.
if you do it once, nothing's going to happen. It's just, but if you start doing it and making it a pattern and a habit every single day, you're going to start to see positive changes and you're going to
hmm
start to feel better. Because we just have so much fog in here, that we just can't see it. We can't see any victory. So,
Yes.
take action, build a system for yourself, drink more water. That's
yeah,
something that I still struggle with, but I
Yeah.
know it's the right thing to do because, our bodies need it. We need to constantly flush our bodies out. We need the nourishment. So make sure you're well hydrated. The next thing is try to stay away from processed foods. I know a lot of people will argue and say, well, everything else is so much more expensive, but think about the long-term effects,
yeah,
Yeah.
and think about the fact that a lot of the stuff that you're putting in your body will literally not process for years.
yeah,
Okay, so I'm talking
Right.
about things like seed oils, those
Yeah.
things. You can get those things out off your shelves and
Yeah.
do, like, avocado oil, or virgin olive oil or extra
Yep.
virgin olive oil, things like that.
Yep.
Um, the processed stuff, guys, is literally killing us. So try to take that out of your diet. The next thing I would do is find some supplement that you can handle, that you can take. The one I recommend, I swear by now because of the benefits, is apple cider vinegar. When I started taking that every day, I started to see so many changes. If you suffer from bloating, it'll reduce bloating. If you suffer from cholesterol, it'll help with that. There's so many positive benefits of taking apple cider vinegar supplements. I don't recommend the gummies. I think they're filled with a bunch of sugar and stuff, but just the pure supplements, I would recommend that. And I think the fifth one is find an accountability partner. Find somebody that you can check in with, that has your back, where you can just be like, hey, just needed to tell you I walked 3 steps today. Hey, needed to tell you I ate a burger, man. I feel like crap, but I'm not going to do it tomorrow, right? So find somebody that you can confide in and that is willing to invest in you. And those 5 things are going to change your life. And again, if I can do it with the all the stuff that I'm doing, the schedules, businesses in multiple continents, writing a book, podcasting, 6 kids, then anybody can do it on the planet. I firmly believe that. Nothing special about me. I just was willing to move.
That's awesome. Love that, man. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, my pleasure. Appreciate you guys having me on as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Jordan, thank you so much for being with us today, guys. Dual Coast Podcast, episode 10, Tuesday morning. And we'll close it out with this, guys. Wellness is not about perfection, but progress. Jordan, we close out every show with that statement. What do you think about that real quick?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it is about progress, because every day we can get, a little bit better. And just remember, it's like if you guys follow college football, my favorite team is the Oregon Ducks. Yeah. And they have this mantra that they put like on the inner tag of their jerseys, and it says you versus yesterday.
Interesting.
And that's exactly what it is, guys. It's you versus yesterday. Can you be better than you were the day before? Yeah. And that should be the challenge every day, because if you can do that, then every day you're getting better, and you're going to not recognize yourself in 6 to 8 months from now.
Yeah.
Also true.
Awesome.
That's Jordan, great stuff, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you.
Have a great day, man.
Thank
you.
Yeah.